practical halacha, if you feel, like we're going to be discussing the basics of halacha, if you feel that for whatever reason your situation is different or it doesn't apply, you want to clarify something, whoever you ask your shilas to, you could ask, but we're going to be going over some halachas which I think, Kamdamani is not so well known, even though they're very basic and central. And the Indian is the Indian of making Kiddush Friday night. Whoever remembers from last time we had a share, last time at least when I was sitting in the seat, we touched upon it, and it was we had some hack afterwards, and we're getting involved. So I thought it would be, besides the fact that because everybody's asked that we speak about it, we'll see why in a minute. I thought it would be an appropriate discussion. I just want to say there's a Gemara, by way of introduction. There's a Gemara Megillah, heading into Purim season now, but there's a Gemara Megillah. The Gemara talks about different things Amiram did that there was Zeichet Harichas Yamim. They asked different Amiram why they were Zeichet Harichas Yamim, and each one gave three different reasons. It's kedai to see the Gemara. Some of them are very. Some of them are worth taking a look at. In any event, the Gemara says that they asked Rav Zakkai. Shalo Tamidu Rav Zakkai. That Tamidu Rav Zakkai asked him, Amarach the Yamim. He gave them three reasons. We'll skip the first two. Each one he gives an explanation for. And the third one he says, V'loi bitalti Kiddush hayom. That he never didn't make Kiddush on Shabbos. And the Mefarshim asks, what do you mean didn't make Kiddush on Shabbos? A chiv to make Kiddush on Shabbos. So what they say is, the Achreinim say is that really technically you could Mekayim Kiddush, and this is very, very negaya for the halacha that we're going to be speaking out. You can Mekayim Kiddush, the chiv of Kiddush, Friday night by davening. And what he meant was that he always made sure to have wine, to have yayin by Kiddush. And he relates a story like this. He says, Ima Zakina Haisali, I had an elderly mother, my mother was old. Pam Achas Machra Kipa Shabiroisha. One day she said she had a veil. It sounds like she only had one veil. She was very poor. So Mark going to explain. She sold her veil. She sold her tuchel. Maybe she sold her shaitan. She had her tuchel, whatever. But she sold something very dear and close to her to provide the wine for Kiddush. And the Mara says that's why she had Yerichas Yamim. That's why she's like to be old. Tana kishemei salichle gimel meiz garbe yayin. When she was nifta, she left 300 barrels of wine. She left a fortune. So the Gemara is trying to tell us is that not only she had Richas Yamim, but they had looking for Segulas for Parnasa. There was a Segul for Parnasa. She ended up becoming very, very rich in a very short time. Yes, we see that there's an Indian over here of Kiddush Friday night, Kiddush Daf KBY, and we'll discuss a little bit what it is. Let's ask Leilam, and please, if Leilam could interject, if you have any comments or questions, because there's a lot to discuss over here, and so we should give some forum. We're not going to be able to get to everything, but if we give some forum to it based on what interests the Chashuv sitting here would be helpful. So please don't hold back. What? I want to know more about schools for Ashiris. Everybody just said that there's three shlichos for schools for Ashiris in Poland, and they're going to all three of them. So if you want schools for Ashiris, you could go that route. But the Gemara does mention this specifically as a school of Ashiris, but again, the reason why I brought the Gemara was not school is somewhat beyond my pay grade, but the reason why we brought this Gemara is to see that there's a very, very chashuv inyan of being medactic and Kiddush, specifically when it comes to wine. So let's just back up for a second. Some basics into halachas Kiddush Friday night. Kiddush Friday night is not just something that's nice to do. I mean, obviously it's something nice to do, but that's not the totality of the experience at all. Kiddush Friday night, as I say, is a mitzvah d'oraisa. It's a mitzvah d'oraisa, and it's very important to explain why in a minute. It's very important to have that awareness. The Gemara says that there's a chiyuv mid'oraisa to be maskir, to mention Shabbos b'knisasu b'tziyasai. Now, putting aside Havdalah for right now, which gets a little more complicated, that means that there's a chiyuv to say with words that you are being mekadosh to Shabbos. Now, the reason why it's so important to be aware of this is because we paskin that when it comes to the Raisa mitzvah strichas kavana, meaning if somebody doesn't have a basic awareness of the mitzvah, he's not yetz to the mitzvah. Now it's much easier to have an awareness for the mitzvah than we think. Kavanah doesn't have to mean, without getting into Sukkah Mitzvah's Kavanah, Kavanah doesn't have to mean that he gets up. I mean, obviously it's preferable to do that, and you should do that, but it doesn't mean that I am being Yates, even though you should do that. It means that you have an awareness that the mitzvah exists, and then if you're doing it, it's obvious that's the reason why you're doing it. But if you don't know at all the mitzvah exists, that could be a problem. Whoever was here last time we had a share, maybe you remember it, at least I do. But the without getting into the lumdus of mitzvah shirks kavanah, basically a person has to know that there is a mitzvah Friday night to make kiddush, to say Baruch Atah Hashem Mekadosh Shabbos, and to be aware that he's being Mekadosh Shabbos is mitzvah d'oraisa. Not like Shabbos morning. Shabbos morning is an entirely different thing. It's the Rabbanon. It has to do with Krosel Shabbos Einik. It's an entirely different thing. So the question is as follows. Somebody came to me a few weeks ago. I came downstairs over here to use the facilities, and someone tells me, Moshe, I think my wife's going to make kiddush for me tonight. I thought some guy was joking. I he said I was a little davening. Afterwards, I walked out. I said, your wife's making kiddush for you tonight? Yeah, maybe you didn't have what he was saying, but actually he was saying something very profound. So, Holy Yidden, Kabnei Yisrael, Lev Yitzchak would say that he didn't know what he was saying, but what he's saying was so deep. But he was touching on an entire Indian halacha, which touches on everything that we're going to be speaking about. He said he thinks his wife should make kiddush for him tonight. I don't know what he meant, but I'll tell you what he really meant. What he really meant was that there is a major, major issue Friday night with making kiddush for yourself and for your wife, and it goes as follows. There's a mitzvah d'oraisa to make kiddush, like we mentioned, right? There's also a mitzvah to make it on wine. There's a mitzvah to make it on wine. The wine chelik is the d'Rabbanan, right? The wine chelik is the d'Rabbanan. If somebody doesn't have wine, they can make it on pas. If someone's mechaven by tefillah, they can be yetzer by tefillah.
Isn't it originally supposed to be in the challah? That's what we cover it.
Yeah, one second. No, the reason we cover is for other reasons, but hold the thought, right? So it means like this. Just again, if anybody doesn't understand, please, or has any questions or comments, please feel free to jump in, like we said. That means as follows. That means that if somebody if somebody comes to shul Friday night, and he decides that he wants to eat before kiddush, okay? So get a little involved. So hang with me. He decides he wants to eat before kiddush. So this guy who was here a few weeks ago, I think it's a true story. He realized that in halacha it says beferish, and Siman Reish Ayin Aleph. And Rabbi say again, this is just meant to make an awareness. Everybody is welcome to take from this what they will. Asoy litim klum koidim sheyikadesh afilu mayim.
Does that include whiskey?
Oh, one second. There's a special, whiskey's worse. Explain why in a minute. Whiskey's actually worse. Explain in a minute. Also litim klum koidim sheyikadesh.
What's this man kiddush?
Yeah, 1 second. Okay, hold on. Okay.
Why do you have to explain why whiskey's worse than water?
Oh, 1 second. Okay, hold on. What are you doing? This is involved. The reason why whiskey is worse than we'll start from the back end. The reason why whiskey is worse than water is because there was a special hakpad on yayin. I don't get it. There's a special the isser is to eat anything, like the Mechaber says afilu mayim. There was a special hakpad on yayin. We'll explain why in a minute. It comes in. And because b'di'evet, even Friday night, you can be yetzer with chamar medina, you can be yetzer with whiskey. With Shabbos morning, again, even the Mishnah Berurah, who's not very makel in these areas, says it's okay. Shabbos morning says it's not okay Friday night, but b'di'evet you could be yetzer. So anything you could make kiddush on is a special hakpada. But putting that aside.
Wait a second. So Chassidim, they drink coffee until Rabbeinu times on Friday night. So Litvish can be yotze from a chusad kiddush.
Wait.
No, because for Litvish guy, it's not this man kiddush yet. He also wasn't yotze kiddush.
Yeah, but for the Litvish,
so what's okay? Hold on.
He can be yotze kiddush.
What?
Everybody is man kiddush.
Yeah, it's like even the Chassidim. It's not they could make kiddush.
They could,
but not okay.
You could make kiddush.
Okay, you could make it before. Oh, 1 second. Okay, so hold on. No. So the first thing is back up a second. The first thing is when does this isser kick in? Everybody said this is not personal. Everybody should do whatever they need to do for their journey in life and in Yiddishkeit, or the other way in Yiddishkeit in life. I'm just telling you what it says in halacha, which is muskim to everybody. And like I said, if you feel for whatever reason, I mean this seriously, that you're Yitzim and Aklal, you have other circumstances, you're welcome to ask whichever rabbinical authority you feel comfortable asking. I'm just telling you what it says in Shulchan Aruch. In Shulchan Aruch it says that you are not allowed to drink anything, eat anything for sure, or drink everything, even water, once it comes the zman for kiddush. Zokt almost all the places, including the Mishnah Berurah. When is the zman for kiddush? Shkia. Which Shkia? Okay. When? Okay, all drum rolls aside. When Shkia is that you have to go to your Zaydus and your Babis and whatever. We're not going into that right now. But Al Kopanim is one thing is very clear. once the Zman for Kiddush kicks in, which for most, I don't know from what, which place can mention Shkia, wait, what's that, Shkia's Zman for Kiddush kicks in. I know specifically, I just want to preface this by saying, it's specifically Kiddush, we're more machmir, because it is an Indian, I don't get lost over here, but it's an Indian to make Kiddush right away, which is brought down la halacha. There's an Indian to make Kiddush right away. So therefore, even if there's a questionable Zman, for sure Lagabi Kiddush, the first that kicks in the first Zman, because like it says in halacha, he's supposed to make it right away. So in any event, it is usher to eat or drink anything by once Zman Kiddush kicks in, which is Shkia. Some Achronim say, and I have to say my father did this in my house. My father was very much a halacha Jew, halachic man. There was Salvation used to say, halachic man. He used to drink water until Bein Hashmash, at least 13 and a half minutes in. And we'll get to it, there's reasons why. There's a heter only when it comes to water for 13 and a half minutes in past Shkia, which is the first month of Bein Hashmash. But I don't want to cloud it. So there's an isser, everybody say, to eat or drink anything once Zman Kiddush kicks in. So this fellow who I met outside after I came down to whatever reason I came down for, told me that he really wanted a drink. So he went and he made Kiddush. Okay, now get this, it gets better. The problem is you have a problem with Kiddush from Makom Suda. You can't make Kiddush without a Suda.
Wine doesn't count.
So you can have double revius of wine. You can have double revius of wine. But he was soymech on what he does Shabbos morning, putting aside the shayla if you should or not, and he took a cup of schnapps. And he said, Savri, Loitzi.
That's probably
no, he said, I think he said it quietly in the morning, right? He said it quietly in the corner. He was mechaven to be Yitzhak Kiddush, and then he had his zaynis. Okay, now there's a lot of childs here.
After, before, he didn't
Okay, wait a second. No, this guy did not daven. The Shabbos left his daven after. Okay, now, one second. Now, putting aside whether mezaynis is enough Friday night to be Yitzhak Kiddush, Kiddush Shabbos morning, Al Kiddush Makom Suda, a separate shmuz, a separate shiur. This is what the guy did. Now, one thing for sure happened over there. I can tell you one thing. He was Mekayim Kiddush. He was Yitzhak Kiddush. So not only did he want to drink Friday night, and knew he has to make Kiddush. Not only did he want to Mekayim, he didn't so holy Kiddush or Makom Suda. He also was aware of the halacha that if you have a chiyuv d'Rabbanan, you can't be moitzi someone who has a chiyuv d'Oraisa. There's a problem if you're a chiyuv. So he was already Yitzhak Kiddush d'Oraisa. He comes home, his wife is not Yitzhak.
You should be able to make Kiddush for the wife 7 times. For the wife and then for the kid each time. You can make
Only in the
Kiddush
morning.
also.
Only in the morning.
No.
Friday night.
Arvis. Okay, so let's back up a second. Is this everybody is making sense so far? It makes sense, right? Yeah. So everybody says there's an Indian of Arvis. There's an Indian of Arvis. There's an idea that even if you Yitzhak din, you could be mitzi somebody else. You can wait to somebody else, their chiyuv. It's a din of arvis. I'm going to speak of arvis now. For whatever reason, for whatever reason, I'll tell you what's put up in halacha. Yeah. For whatever reason, if somebody only has a chiyuv d'Rabbanan, they have a problem being made to somebody's chiyuv d'Oraisa. A cotton, they have a Talmud Chacham here in the house. We're spoken about in halacha is, let me know if I'm trailing off. I'll rein it back in. We're spoken about is if somebody only has a cotton in the house. So the Paiskim, the Mashrurim, the Kama Paiskim, they say that even though the Katan has a Chiyav Chinuch, which is the Rabbanon, they can't be Moitzi, the woman who has a Chiyav Deraisa, therefore she should say it with him. Maybe Chinuch is different, maybe it's not, but there is a rule that Lo Yasi Rabbanon is Makshak Chiyav Deraisa, or the Rabbanon can't be Chiyav Deraisa. And I'll explain you why. So this fellow had a major problem.
Because he's not the Katan's on the Parsha.
Right.
Why is it a major problem?
But that's not the reason they say. That's not the reason they say. The reason they say is because Rabbanon, because you cannot be Moitzi Rabbanon Deraisa. Now I'll tell you why it's the gay full of us.
Why can his wife make Kiddush?
His wife could make Kiddush, but he didn't want to come home and tell his wife that he already drank three cups of schnapps and he ate all the rugelach in the house, and now he's coming home. His kids are sitting there waiting, and he's coming home and he's wheeling like it's Purim, and he's getting up to make Kiddush on his life, grapes life. That he didn't want to do. So
live with this problem every week.
Very good. So here's where we're heading. So he has a problem. So you can easily avoid this shaila. You can easily avoid. What's your name? Yehuda. So Yehuda's time like this. You can easily avoid the shaila. What you do is don't make Kiddush Friday night. Davening is not so long. Wait till you come home. It's good for Shalom Bayit. It's good for many, many other reasons. You avoid the problem Kiddush Makom Suda. You avoid this problem, and you just be in the Mala mention. You make Kiddush when you come home. In fact, Yehuda, a major shaila. We say every Friday night with davening Baruch Atah Hashem Mekadosh Shabbos. Technically, you're Yitzhak Kiddush. Yaitza Kiddush, right?
Deraisa?
What? The Raisa. Yaitza the Raisa. That's the Raisa Kiddush. So it comes out that when you come home, this is practical halacha, by
The rice, Moshe said the rice in kavana.
wait 1 second. 1 second. Wait. We're getting there. So when you come home, you only have your chiyuv is only the rabbanon.
It's not a continuation or a dinner of the right?
No. If you yaitza. 1 second. Yaitza. So when you
What about Kiddush al Yayin?
Well, so Kiddush now is the rabbanon because you already yaitza the Raisa. There's any rabbanon to make Kiddush al Yayin. So it comes out that when you're trying to make your wife, you are only mechuyev the rabbanon and she's mechuyev the Raisa. Matthew, makes sense?
You can't yaitza if you've already davened. You can't make Kiddush for your wife.
What? Unless you daven.
Let me tell you something. This guy downstairs didn't say Mekadosh Shabbos either.
What he's...
He didn't daven. Okay, fine.
No, but when you make Kiddush, you say Mekadosh Shabbos. You can't just make a shackle.
You say I need Mekadosh.
So I basically, so this is the question. When we daven Friday night, are we yaitza the chiyuv deraisa or are we yaitza chiyuv deraisa or not? So the truth is that if somebody is mechaven to be yaitza, then they are automatically yaitza, and the chiyuv is taka d'rabbanan, and they fall into this problem. Again, it's not a problem practically. Everybody can feel free to come home and make kiddush. We'll explain a few reasons why, but practically it's not an issue. But it's important to just know a couple things which do make a difference every Friday night. So b'kitzah, so the guy davens already, and he thinks Baruch Hashem Mekadosh Shabbos. Right? So he's yaitza midiraisa. The problem is, like he's saying, not the problem is, the solution is because mitzvah sfichas kavana by deraisa. So if you don't have kavana, you're not going to be yaitza.
So you're saying don't have kavana in your davening?
What? That's it. He was ready yaitza. You hear what he said? You have to be mechaven. You have to be mechaven by deraisa.
Make that clear.
Hey, we do make kiddush Friday night, so. Right, so after you have to be Mekadosh.
Moshe, if we have a zin to be Mekayim Kiddush, Mekadosh Shabbos, he can't do it between 6 and 7.
Oh, so it's up. Before we start the shit, somebody asked if we're going to go into the Kabbalah and says Friday, Kiddush Friday night, we're going to go into the Bistami Slay. So this is not lachash news. All in Yonim, all heilig in Yonim.
Let's just make Kiddush before.
What, 6 from 6 to 7? Okay, this is. Some people are very happy with this. Some people remember this trauma from the youth. They have to wait till after 7. This is a whole separate Indian. You have to speak to other people in attendance who know these Inyanim of Api Kabbalah. They've got a lot of Friday nights, and specifically a time for Inyan, which is kedai, why it's kedai to have an awareness of what we're actually doing. Okay, so we'll hold on a second. So the guy's ready to the right. So this is the shaila. If he comes Friday night and he's the question is if someone Friday night b'daving is yaitz midei right or not. It's going to make a chiluk halacha. We'll explain in a minute why. Because mitzvah shrichas kavanah, you have to have lahedi de kavanah. Now normally what we say is, and this is a little bit of a lump, but just that lahedi kavanah doesn't mean that he says harini muchan mazumin l'kayim. It's better if you do that. L'kayim mitzvah seishel kiddush. What it means is that the only reason he knows that there's such a mitzvah, and the only reason why he's doing it is because it's a mitzvah. That's considered kavana. That's kavana. Zakir Shem Zalman, when you say it in nusach of tefillah, you are not being mechaven to be yaitza. It's been nusach tefillah. More so, something similar to what you were saying, because the setup is that you're going to make on wine, that's built into the system, that you're going to make on wine, automatically you're not mechaven to be yaitza now. Because you know that there's wine and you know that that's the better way to do it, and therefore it's automatic that even if you say Baruch Hashem Mekadosh Shabbos, which normally would automatically make you be yaitza, you're gonna be yaitza. Zoktich Sam Sofer, a very interesting thing. He says his idea by mitzvahs kavanah called kavanah lahapech. Meaning, if you dafka have kavanah not to be yaitza, you're for sure not yaitza. So he says halacha l'maisa, and it's brought up by others as well. Every Friday night, a person should have kavana not to be yaitza Baruch Hashem Mekadosh Shabbos, and dafka to be yaitza when he gets home. Like this, he stays away from. He does it a more than the gaifen because he does it aliyayin. Additionally, he doesn't have this problem. You might see his wife, and he's much better off on many different levels.
Bottom line is, what did you tell this guy?
So what I told this guy is, Eli Perman told me that there is a shul. He told me yesterday that, I don't know how you knew I was speaking about this, but there is a shul that actually puts out bulkalach for the island. I guess because whoever the rabbis were concerned about this. And Friday night. He puts out bulkalach Friday night. because it's us to eat and drink Friday night without making kiddush. So I guess he figured that the crowd that he had was going to eat and drink anyways. They're going to have to make kiddush. They have to make kiddush. They have to make kiddush from Mokum Suda. Kids, there's the whole Friday night Suda going on. By the time he came home, this guy already was Yetz kiddush Suda. I don't know my Machreinim bench out of whatever Al Zachin. And he knows Shaykh says Friday night Suda. Grad that brings up another Shaila because we also have 3 Sudas. But kids, it messes other things up along the way.
You yelled like a chitki.
He wanted 4 Sudas. His wife thought she was on her first Suda. He was on the second Suda. The kids beat him every Friday night. Well, when he was in this he was Yetz Adliyad every Friday night. But that's a general idea.
Not eating before Friday night.
What?
Not eating before
So it becomes a shayla like this. Like I be eating Friday night. The right say, as unpopular as it may be, does not appear to be a heter. It does not appear to be a heter. I wanted to explain to you how weit this goes, how extreme this is. The latter day Paiskim talk about taking a pill during Bein Hashmashos. And Diane Weiss and others discuss taking a pill during Bein Hashmashos. And bedoichik their matter, drinking after the Zman. What they say is that if a woman, I'm explaining where they handle the Shiloh. They don't even handle it. They don't even talk about it. It's not even a discussion after 13 and a half minutes after Shkia. That's not even a discussion in the Paiskim. What they talk about is someone has to take a pill, or they talk about if a woman was Makabel Shabbos. If a woman was Makabel Shabbos, right? Or if you were Makabel Shabbos. A woman was Makabel Shabbos a half hour before the Zman, so technically it's not the Zman yet, but she was Makabel Shabbos, so the Chi of Kiddush is already on her. They say if she was very thirsty, it wasn't mamish meant to make tzar, and because it's only a taste of Shabbos, she was Makabel, she could drink. I'm just to put this into
the lawyer Ben Tam, the Ben Hashmashos is called before Ben Tam.
What?
He's asking us tomorrow, no, not Kiddush.
I was drinking before Meir?
No, it's eating before Meir.
Oh, I was eating before. Okay, so hold on a second. So the question is, why is such akpad the Friday night? Meaning to say, again, stick with me. Why is such akpad the Dafka Friday night? We have a din that if you have to do a mitzvah, Moshe famously talks about it by Meir every Friday night. If you have to do a mitzvah, you're not allowed to eat, right? Again, you wake up in the morning, you have to shake a little of an esrog. You can't just start eating breakfast. You can't just put it aside davening. You can't just start eating breakfast. Right? Or does a child Kriya Shema every Friday every night? One second. Or does a Shaila every night? There's a Chiv Ma'ariv, there's a Chiv Kriya Shema. Are you allowed to just go in? The Teretz, you're not allowed to just eat. Again, every case is different. If you have a special minion, you're not getting involved in all the pratim, but you're not allowed to just eat. So how come? But you're always allowed to drink. Even a chilas arei is discussed in the Paiskim as a possibility. You can have a fruit, b'dar klal in most cases, right? So how come there's such a hakpada when it comes to Friday night, right? Again, so the reason is, and this we discuss it, but the Shulchan Aruch Harav, the Baal Tanya discusses this, and when he says this, like this, he says the lashon in the this is the way I understood it at least. He says the lashon in the mechaber, which is stam kedai to know, kishavu lebeis yimar lechem yad. You know, Pesach by night. Right? There's a major akpad everybody knows you're supposed to make right away. You shouldn't raise it. Machshel Kiddush. Yeah. It's the same thing every Friday night. Right. Anyway, that means there's a reason why there's a minute to stay in shul for a while, putting that aside for whatever reason, which adults could understand. But putting that aside, the etzem, the ikar hadin, there is not this idea of draining zich around Friday night or doing other things or stopping by your friends to schmooze or whatever is not the shleipia, is not what Allah advises. He'll advise make kiddush right away. So Dr. Shulchan Aruch like this. He says an interesting thing. He says because there's a hakpada to make kiddush right away, and when we get to the Shvar Shnap's is worse now. Because there's hakpada to make kiddush right away, they assert everything. I mean, normally there's a regular reason makdim in the mitzvahs. You shouldn't be makdim your own tzrachim before you do the mitzvah. But there's no chi of dafka that means, for example, shofar or lulav is a man kol hayoy. You really can do it the whole day. There's an Indian to do it right away, and we don't want you to get messed up doing other things. So we'd say, and also it's bizarre to get involved in your own tzrachim
before shofar.
What? Okay, we're putting that. That's wait for a shot of time. This is under shmuz.
Same beraisa.
What? Yeah. Okay, this is already. I mean, this for 300 years. They're ready. For 500 years, they're discussing this. What? The special dispensation. 1 second. Just an important thing. Every mitzvah there's a problem eating before, the problem doing or getting involved in something before. However, achilas ari and shtia is okay because there's no chi of dafka do it right away. We don't want you to do something else before it. But when it comes to kiddush, because we put in that it should be done right away, there's a pressing. There's a pressing there's a pressing chiyuv as soon as the zman kicks in. Therefore, we don't even let you take a drink of water or whatever. We greatly discourage you taking a drink of water. So basically, I just want to say, I'll end up with this, that when it comes Friday night, it's a geschmacka mitzvah. We do it anyways. It's a special time, family. It's like a warm time. It's a nice time. A little bit of kavanah goes a long way. It's a mitzvah deraisa, a mitzvah shrichas kavanah. If you could just have in mind by daven, you don't have to have active in mind. Just be aware this is not where you want to be b'yaitza, and have in mind b'shamayis when you're doing b'shas ma'isa, when you're actually doing the mitzvah, you're adding qualitatively, you're adding a tremendous amount of quality to the mitzvah, and it might even be a shayla being yaitza. And I want to mention, and Eli Horowitz is not here, but his mother's yaitza that comes from Tzeva soon, and it was partially sponsored by him. What was her name? Esther Malka. He told me his father he should have Lichtig Gan Eden had a minig, which you don't see very often, and it's brought down beferish in Mishnah Berurah. He used to come home. He used to say everyone should have mind to be yaitza, right? And Mishnah Berurah says this should be a minig in our families that we should do. Again, you have to do every Friday night. People know they know, but it's something to bring up as an awareness or to say over at least during the Suda, so they'll know for the next Friday night. The reason is, because it's a mitzvah deraisa, you have to have kavanah in all mitzvahs. B'shum mitzvah deraisa, you have to be kavanah to be moitzi and to yaitza. It means there's a special, you have to have kavanah loitzi, and the people listening have to have kavanah to be yaitza. So if nobody knows that such a mitzvah even exists, they think whatever, Friday night, it's a nice thing. We come, we make kiddush, whatever, and no one is lacking awareness of sure not having kavanah to be yaitza, which could be a problem. Mamish medina to be yaitza.
That's what really you're supposed to drink from the wine.
So if your wife, that's kosher bracha. That's kosher bracha. But if your wife is aware and your children are aware, and most importantly you're aware, then it takes care of a lot of problems. I'll just mention, we were talking before, that there's two anhagas which are Mekubal and Klal Yisrael and brought down la'alacha, and that is that during Kiddush, specifically Friday night, but is a person is supposed to look inside, when the Mekadosh is supposed to look inside at the wine, because it's Perishal Bracha, and Mishnah Berurah brings down, which is a many people, to look at the lich. Look at the lich. There's Grace Ahil Ginyanim. What's brought down la'alacha is that it's refuah for Einayim, for Psiya Gasa, for different things. It's Mesakin, different things we do throughout the week. It's a minig, it's brought down by halacha, that's brought down by everybody. And
I see.
You still didn't say what you told the guy. Could he make it to his wife?
I told the guy, it wasn't whatever. It wasn't like a whole psak discussion, but I told the guy that I sincerely suggest that you go home and you make kiddush. I should, because first of all I know the guy, and it would not have been a good idea for him to come in and start telling his wife a whole shtickle Torah why he's not making kiddush because he spent the whole Friday night drinking whatever. It was not. I just told no. So there's eitzah. I wish I know there's eitzah. No. So there's eitzah. I want this eitzah. The Kivega says just again. I want the shtickle lum just thrown in over here. There's a reason why she might also be their rabbanan. I'll tell Allah why my pay is called. The Kivega hold that if you say good Shabbos, we yaitza the chiyuv deraisa of the Mekadosh Shabbos. Okay, right. So I told him if you say good Shabbos, right, she says back to you, there's a strong basis in halacha that she was already mekayim the deraisa. Mitzvah shrichas kavanah. Okay, whatever. It gets complicated, but lemaisa, at least then no. Then she's also the rabbanon. She's also the rabbanon. So he told me he's going to come and tell his wife to daven. You come and wobbling, and then you got to tell your wife that she has to daven, but she didn't daven Friday night. In the past 20 years of married, you're definitely not heading your week off to right. The Frat, the Shalach Kodesh brings down. This I did tell her. It says that there's a tremendous Peda of Shalom Bayis Friday night. He said that if somebody comes into their house, okay, first of all it's a Mishnah, but whatever. Somebody comes into their house and starts fighting around Friday night. He said it causes whatever. You don't want to know. So I told him that whatever. This is not. You're not heading down a smart track over here. You want to display to your wife your prowess in halacha, doing it other in yanim. Not that she should make kiddush or she should daven ma'ariv and start making it crazy. Just go and daven ma'ariv. Next week, don't do it. Ma'aser, the next week I came. That this really happened. Next week again, I bumped into him. So he told me I had a l'chaim, but I didn't make kiddush. That was eight out of it. He didn't make kiddush. So the l'chaim wasn't willing to give up, but the shalom bayis he didn't want to be makar. So that was good.